What's going on, y'all? Y'all tuned into another episode of Xposure. I be your boy, the Global Zoe, and I'm with the gang.
Eric Biddines.
Drego Mill.
And today we have a special invited guest.
It's all about exposure. You need the exposure. You gotta touch the streets. You need that street credibility. You need that promotion. And that's what exposure provides for the peace.
Working me that makes him sign out here at MIA, grinding like I always do. We watching Exposure.
Getting hit in the head with that exposure. You know what it is, them down dogs, Raylo, #1 DJs, #1 promoters for show from Palm Beach. It's exposed, it's wide open now.
Y'all check it out, you know what I'm saying? Keep it locked all over Florida.
And you are watching Xposure.
The one and only Oscar Zayas of OnBeat Studios. Give it up, give it up, give it up, give it up. Oscar Zayas, what's going on?
Chilling, brother, chilling.
Hey, we
Happy
see
to
you
be
looking
here.
like money. We see you looking like money. Listen, man, we're excited to have you. It's definitely a pleasure. And we just really want to document the story on Exposure. We had Triple J. He mentioned you and said a lot of good things. Chris Redding. So all over the city, we know what you've done and what you contributed. So we just really want to get into your story. All right.
Hell yeah.
All right, let's do it, man. So Oscar, let's talk about the upbringing. Where were you born and where were you raised?
I was born in Cuba, and I came here to the United States when I was 6 years old.
And what can you tell us about just that upbringing in Cuba? 6 years old, before 6 years old. What can you remember?
Well, I was there, and they put you in school really early in Cuba. I'm thinking 2-3 years old when they put me in school. And the first thing they teach you in school is, back then anyway, was Fidel Castro's name and the date. But I can tell you that after, I left when I was 6 years old, I can fully read and write Spanish just from the small amount of time I was in school in Cuba.
When you went to New Jersey, or was it New York?
I went to New Jersey.
To New Jersey, right?
Yeah.
So talked about that transition. What made you go from New Jersey down to Florida?
Well, I love New Jersey. I hung out mostly in New York in the clubs there. And one night I was at this club in New York called Studio 54. I had just bought a motorcycle. I was pretty buzzed, and one of my friends said, "Hey, man, they need a DJ for West Palm Beach, Florida. You want to try out?" And I'm like, "Yeah, sure, why not?" And so the next day I went over and tried out, met the guy, and 2 or 3 weeks later, I ended up here in West Palm Beach, and that was right at the beginning of my 4th year of college. As a matter of fact, one of my friends, David Nola, who who's still around, he was part of Dynamix too, and he gave that. I don't know if you guys remember the bass song, "Give the DJ a Break." Just give the DJ a break. Anyway.
No,
I don't know that.
you guys don't know your history of bass music. You guys do not know your Miami bass history.
And this is why we're doing this too, right? It's very informative for folks like us.
Yeah, you guys don't know. Well, it was back when the Two Light Crew and the Gucci Crew and Danny D, who was a local from here, Beware Records. I don't know if you guys are familiar with those.
I remember Beware.
Beware, I've heard of.
Yeah, well, those guys, they were doing their thing back in the day. Cooley C.
Okay, rest in peace.
AJ and the fellas. Yeah, rest in peace, Cooley. So yeah, that was all started around the same time then. So I came in on at a kind of a change in everything that was happening. Although, freestyle and rap were popular, but the Miami sound was just, getting going right then. Because the Miami sound was huge for a while here, from like 85 through about, I want to say 87, 88. It was huge.
And when we're talking about the Miami sound, we're talking about booty music?
Booty music and freestyle. Trenier, Pandas Records, oh gosh, Debbie Deb. I'm sure some of the listeners might know who they are, but you guys better educate yourselves.
Okay. So how important is when we talk about DJing, of course, when you're DJing, you're not playing the music for yourself. You're really trying to move a crowd. You're playing music for the crowd, right? Is that
I ain't that type of DJ.
okay?
I like playing for myself.
Okay.
All right.
And it works.
But I happen to have good taste in the stuff that I like, so it worked out for me. After that partying of the dance floor, I made it good, and I started playing what they like, but also what I like. You know what I mean? I find it important to enjoy what you're doing. But I'm not a jukebox. I hate that shit. No.
So, did you ever have to deal with local talent trying to get you to play their music, DJing that kind of genre?
All the time.
Okay.
All the time. The first one was Stephanie. She came through Danny D, who was on Beware Records, and actually we ended up making a record together because I used to play it on reel to reel because I didn't have vinyl. So we actually made a record called Getaway. Stephanie's passed now, but that was my first foray into music production. Also, a funny story. Did you guys know the song "Give It All You Got"? Give It All You Got.
Yeah,
I've heard. Yep, heard it.
Okay, I was working at Specs Music, and I was the record buyer. Some of my clients were like Raylo. You know, he used to come in and buy records from me, and I have a ton of clients like that. Anyway, the guy who made that song, Derek Rahman, he was working at an oil rig. You know, he was like driving oil trucks or whatever around. And he came in and he handed me this record, Give It All You Got. And I was doing a teen night at the club back then. And I'm like, yeah, bro, I'll play this shit. Man, that shit blew up as soon as I played it. And it was amazing that this guy just out of nowhere gave me that record. And he went, you know, he went crazy.
So he was local?
He's local from, I believe, Lauderdale, yes.
And he just handed you that record.
He was traveling around, heard about the store because I was a very popular store for dance music. I was the one that would buy all the songs and distribute them to the DJs, and they would come buy from me.
I didn't know that history about you.
Well, see, I started playing the music, then I started selling the music, and then I started making the music. So my whole career has been one facet of music or another.
So I guess as we talk about the DJing and that's what got you to become a audio engineer.
That was the next thing I had to learn. You know, I played it, I sold it, and I wanted to learn how to make it.
So went to school for that. Full Sail ain't around. Is Full Sail not around back then? So how does one learn?
My friend Dave went to Full Sail. I just started picking up computers and learning it myself.
And this was what year?
I started learning it about 93.
Okay, that's early.
Yeah.
And when did you
perfect back then? I mean, now you know you can launch a rocket ship, but
what year you think you perfected it? You know, perfected the engineering.
I'm still working on that.
Well, okay. So let me reword.
There's no perfecting that shit. It's it's just an evolution.
Okay, so let me reword.
When I got decent that I deserved money.
Yeah, there you go.
I would say about 05, 06.
Okay.
After 21 Reese's and after 2 or 3 Triple J songs, albums, I mean, yeah. But definitely after 21 Reese's, when Passion of the Mic came out, that's when I started really learning the craft.
Okay. How did you get yourself out there? We didn't have social media, none of that out there. How did you brand yourself at that time?
Yellow Pages.
There was no branding. I just did a good job, and people find out word of mouth, just like that.
Word of mouth.
It was all word of mouth, except for the first time. The first studio, which wasn't called OnBeat, it was in a record store called Danceteria over on Lake Worth
Road.
Yeah.
You was in the back.
I was in the back.
Military Trail.
It was just west of Military on Lake Worth Road,
next to the KFC.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And so the owner wanted like a little studio, in the back, so you can get like karaoke people and offer extra services. All my shit was in my bedroom, me practicing, annoying my then wife. And so I said, sure, I'll put it over there. So what he did was he took out an like one of these ads, local ads on BET. Record yourself, da 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 da. And the funny thing is, one of my first clients was Mimi. I don't know if you guys know Mimi.
Am I twice?
Am I twice?
Yeah.
And Triple J.
Wow.
And I gotta tell you, I knew shit about rap. Nothing. I was like in that record store, I was the buyer for all the house music and dance music and stuff like that. So I kind of just went into it, and somehow the shit sounded right and people kept on coming. But I was very new with that. I green. But Trip saw something in it. I don't know. He says he wanted that unprofessional sound. Now, we talk about it now. he wanted something that wasn't as clean. He wanted something from the streets, and then you can't get any dirtier than me because I didn't know what the fuck I was doing back then. Technically I did, but not like nothing like I know now.
The first Triple J project you worked on with him, was that the Welcome to Raw Vera Volume 1?
I think it was Raw Vera Volume 1. Either that or Off the Porch, but I think it was Raw Vera Volume 1.
And I think Trip may have mentioned it. So
yeah,
Am I Twice was your first hip hop.
She was one of my first, but she wasn't the one that was singing or rapping. She brought her little nephews in, so there were kids.
Okay.
Yeah.
So she's legendary then. She's the first.
She's always been legendary. She's an excellent producer, man. She's the shit.
But
she
see,
too.
About our side of town, when you talk about Derry and Boynton Beach at that time, we met her after a compilation. I think when she was working on this compilation, and I feel like it reached to our side, and I met Am I Twice.
That was about, I think that was about 04, 05, around 06, in that time frame around then. I remember that. She had Chevy. It wasn't Chevy Porter on there, and
it was
Hey Red, and
I was on there.
You guys were on there.
A lot of people. Yeah. She got almost everybody who she could find that was active at that time. It was a really good project too.
Yeah. I still have it backed up somewhere.
So I'm just curious. So starting out, and you said you ain't know everything that you know now. How did you come up? What was the fee? What were you charging back then? As far as
I mean, it wasn't too bad. I started off, I think it was 30 or 35 an hour.
Okay.
So
I came in at $50 an hour.
Right. So that must have been like 02, 03 around there.
Yeah.
So also another thing I want to discuss, because see, our side of town, my first professional studio experience was OnBeat Studios in Lake Worth.
Oh, he was very popular. Hell yeah.
And I think he was going for like 30 an hour. Like back then it was like 30 an hour. So he was he was killing it out there, I think, especially the Haitian community.
Oh yeah. We had similar clients, like Action Beats and Neldy, and we shared a lot of clients.
So when you were in the upcoming back in those days and you knew OnBeat, it was almost like I remember Ronnie T brought me to a session. My first record I remember it's called Bitchified. I recorded with you. I was nervous as shit, like, as you just knew, you starting to think, oh shit, Triple J come here, Suave Smooth come here. Like you start thinking like 21, like everybody started, like you had to go to OnBeat Studios. So my first experience, man, I think I could, my doubles was, I just said, I'm gonna book it. Fuck how it sound. I just need to go and learn who this Oscar guy is and see if I can compete. But man, you talk about pressure. But the thing I did love, though, you was very attentive to what I was doing. You communicated. Sometimes you got, and I've been to different studios back then. Not everybody is paying attention to your session. Like, I get you're getting paid for it, but there's a special attention you're paying to that artist where you can tell if I'm just hitting that R button on the keyboard or I'm actually, trying to pay attention and guide you to the best of my ability.
Yeah, most of the time, even if it doesn't look like I'm, if I'm like scrolling on my phone or doing whatever, I'm actually listening. I hear the mistakes and I will stop you if I have something better for you to do, unless you're one of those that don't like criticism, and then I'll keep going. And most of the time I listen and I'll suggest stuff, to do better. And also patience is a very big thing in what I do. You can't get a good performance unless people are comfortable being there. You know what I mean?
Correct. Yeah.
So I just see how they are, and I work the session, towards them, towards you guys, so you guys are comfortable.
So I mean, I feel like Palm Beach County, when we not only we could talk about the sound from a producer standpoint, but when we talk about some of the best records that came out of the city, whether we're talking about club hits or or even records that made it to radio, they came out of OnBeat Studios. OnBeat Studios got a lot of records out there that did a lot of movement in the city.
Yeah, we had a lot of good stuff, especially with Schife and Trip and Eric and you. I mean, yeah, hell yeah.
Can you name some of the big songs that did well locally that you recorded?
Oh man, you're putting me on the spot. I have a terrible memory, and I have a zillion clients.
All right.
But off the top of my head, I know 16 Years Old was a huge one.
Yep, Triple J.
102.3. Shout out to Daddy Fats.
Beat That Pussy Down. G-Boi. Toe Down had many.
Yeah.
Toe Down had Club Mirage on lock, man.
Yeah,
everything y'all was cooking out of
there. Had a ton. And I'm sure there's others. Oh my God!
You did any PCC Van Dam?
Oh God, they used to come 8 hours a week for years. Yeah.
Wow.
I remember trying to get booked on, I don't know what days they had, Thursday or Tuesday. They had this one day every week for almost 6 months. I want to say I could never book that day because you talk about from like 2 to close.
It was years. God rest the dead. It was
Cook them up.
Cook them up, man. Yes, cook them up. Got those boys together, and he would take care of their sessions, man. I miss him. That was fucked up. But yeah, there was Cook 'em Up was the one that would bring him every week, and it was a great time, man. A lot of talent. They work well together. It was an awesome time.
So I also want to talk about a particular situation. We was running through YouTube videos, and it just brought me back. Like, I didn't know so much stuff was on YouTube. Like, I didn't know that he was uploading so much content. But looking at the Carbine, I want to say maybe Carbine Mafia era, when you had G-Boi, Toe Down, Schife, and I'm talking about video shoots from Rick Ross, the Khaled's, Triple C's, and there's a lot of clips you in the background because I know once upon a time you and Schife were a duo when it comes to that sound that I know from him. Can you speak about how that started? And what were you guys able to accomplish? Because I know Khaled, We the Best, and Triple C's was shouting you guys out left and right, and that's on YouTube. Got plenty of views.
Yeah. At first it started, I don't know, our stuff was getting out, and I believe the guys from Triple C's were using our tracks and spitting on them, and Schife was all mad and stuff. And then we started working. This is before that. Further in the future, around 06, 07, we were working with G-Boi, doing the I forgot the name of the album, but the big album where that Beat That Pussy Down, and all that on it.
I think it's called Certified.
No, it wasn't Certified.
Not Certified?
It was, oh gosh, I can't remember. It was the big one that had. It's still like I still listen to the album and it's amazing. But that album, we had Clee, Toe Down, Schife, Triple J, and a few other people all collabed on this, and they would all chip in, whether it was lyrics or ideas. And that's one of the best albums I ever worked on, like the way it came out. It was awesome. Anyway, somehow that album got to Fat Joe, and he loved it so much that he came to us, and he wanted to sign Schife, for the label. And of course, we were like, yeah, whatever, because we didn't believe it. So we were like, yeah. And eventually, Stan, the guy who runs, what is it, Say Cheese? Stan, the guy that was City Girls. He's the manager for City Girls and all those people.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. I didn't know what he was up to.
Anyway, Stan, yeah, he does a bunch of stuff. He was trying to sign Schife and yada, yada, yada. And and then he sent over Fat Joe, and we worked with him for a little while. It was through Stan that got us into Khaled and to everybody else. Stan, Fat Joe, then Khaled, then Khaled spread us out to everybody.
Now, Oscar, you Khaled was in his prime. He was in his bag. He was Khaled. Like, I mean, he still is Khaled, but he was really the thing. I mean, did you ever think about, damn, it's gonna happen? Like, I ain't probably gonna have to record another local artist session again. Like, I'm in there. I'm gonna be recording the big dogs. Did that moment ever kick in? Or
yes and no. I was going through some stuff back then. I was going through a divorce and a bunch of stuff. So my mind, it was exciting, but at the same time, it wasn't. It looked good on paper. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But I was going through a bunch of stuff, and I thought it was exciting. Although, I'd rather, believe it or not, I still enjoy working with local people than I do with divas. That's the one thing that I noticed.
So now you got to break down diva. I know when I'm thinking.
Well, the people that are already on top, they say, okay, meet me at the studio at 5:30. When me and Schife will get there at 5:30. They won't show up till 1 a.m. and then have an idea at 5 a.m. I did not like that shit at all. That is not my way of working. You know me. I'm very
punctual.
So I did not, and I really did enjoy that. And to tell you the truth, like, that's why I'm still engineering and not going out producing. It wasn't that enjoyable for me. Meeting people and doing all that stuff, yes, but the actual thing of it, no.
So on the producing side, is that because the bag comes later? Like, I gotta create this beat, I gotta record this artist, then we gotta sign paperwork eventually. Then I know, maybe God willing, if it lands on radio, it does what it does, I'm gonna get paid eventually on the back end. Is it because there's not that money in the beginning?
That's the thing with me back then. The studio was all under my name. I was paying all the bills for the studio. When I don't work and I'm over there trying to make beats to Schife, nope, I'm the one that still got to pay the studio, and child support and whatever else is going on at the time. So it was really hard for me just, to devote that. I mean, you have to be young, free, and single in order to do all that stuff, unless you already did it and, you made it. But it was very difficult for me, to just let go and and work it out. It was hard. You know how it is. I mean, you have a family. If right now, they say, hey, you got to be in the studio every night, and then you still have to pay for stuff, but you can't be there.
I completely understand. No, I do think we're at a point now where time is money. I hear
there were no advances or anything. I mean, Callie used to pay me a little bit because he used to have me do a little work here and there for him. He used to pay me, but not enough just to leave the studio for weeks or months at a time. That's the truth of it.
So being around that situation, and I know you guys got some placements besides Khaled and Triple C's. Is there anybody else that you've got some credit for?
Yeah, we did stuff for. We did. That's the Shit That I Live for Trick Daddy. We did a couple of songs for Trina, where I think Schife is still on the hook, pitched up.
Wait, question. When you say that, y'all made the beat for This The Shit That I Live?
Yeah, that's us.
Holy shit!
I believe that if you and Schife made the hook, and Trick Daddy redid it. But Trick Daddy wasn't with it. It was actually E-Class who was in the studio with us making that, and then he gave it to Trick Daddy. You didn't know that?
No, I did not. I mean, I got that on my gym rotation. That's one of my like trick records I go to. I had no idea that. I mean, now that I hear the beat in my head, I'm like, yeah, I could see that, but I didn't know that at the time.
Yeah, that was us.
Damn. All right.
We did that, a bunch of Ace Hood stuff. Actually, we started with the Ace Hood stuff back in. Don't ask me to remember the names because we did so much.
No, you good. I mean, I just want to make sure that some of them names get out there. That's
Gucci, Making Love to the Money. That was us.
I remember that one.
We did a bunch of stuff for Gucci for his Zone 6 mixtapes. We did a bunch of stuff for Khaled for the Victory album. I believe we did a quarter of that album or a third of that album. We did most of the tracks for Triple C's, that album. Just a ton of stuff. Yeah, we were working a lot back then.
Now, do you miss I mean, besides the he's call them divas. I get the diva side. Do you miss producing at all? I know you're engineer, but do you miss
I'd rather engineer than produce. I leave the producers. I can physically do it. I know how to do it. I know how to arrange, but I don't have the patience for it. You know what I mean? I don't know. I like fixing other people's stuff and making it sound good. I can actually produce, but I just don't like the process of it.
I understand.
You know, everybody. If I did everything I'm capable of doing, I wouldn't have a focus. So I had to focus in order just to continue what I do. So I can't be a guy with all the hats. I have to I wanted to focus on engineering because I know exactly that's what I like. And the producing, I can help people produce, but I don't want to do it full time. I've always felt very safe with my clients, man. Always.
Yeah, nobody wasn't gonna bother Oscar because he had the clients, he had the love and the respect he had, and how neutral he was able to stay in doing what he did.
Oh yeah, I recorded Top 6 and who was the other side? Teresa and who was the other people? Remember the Top 6 feud? What was it?
I don't know with who, unfortunately.
Yeah, but I recorded both of them.
Was there any like, hey, let me make sure I don't book y'all around the same time frame? Anything you had to consider? No.
I did like an idiot. I had no security measures. I also recorded. You remember when Hustler Jones was the first guy to come up in this trip? I recorded that too.
Yeah,
that's the district. Damn.
Yeah, oh, that's what got Hustler Jones noticed. He just came straight out, dissed him. Not many people understood.
Sure you want to do this?
And you recorded the diss track, is what you?
Oh yeah.
You a part of that? Oh yes. Lord, oh Lord.
Hold on, what did you ask him?
Huh? I said, you sure about that?
Because he had just got out of prison.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, I remember.
Yeah,
that.
So he came. He wanted to.
And listen, I am an equal opportunity person. I don't deny people based on personal things unless you personally did something to me. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's equal. I have turned down sessions with major artists because I had previous sessions with somebody existing, and I will always, do what I'm supposed to do. I don't like playing favorites like that. So yeah. Trip was laughing about it, so it didn't matter.
I bet.
It didn't go danger. So I remember that. That time.
Yeah.
So what's like one experience you can share? We don't gotta, we ain't saying no names, but what would be one experience you share as an engineer that, well, I mean, maybe it could be a night, it could be an early session. What's one of the crazy experiences you could share that happened to you as an engineer?
Man, I can't single out a single story. I
got one for you.
Go ahead.
You've engineered a bunch of artists. Have you ever finished mixing and mastering a track? Have you keep some records to yourself and go home with it and put it on your phone? Do you have any favorite one right now that you keep to yourself?
To tell you the truth, when I make stuff, like some of the stuff that's personal, like back in the day, I would have CDs in my car to listen to it, and G-Boi was one of them. God, I can't remember the name of the damn album. It was a huge one, but yeah, G-Boi was one that I had personally in my car. But other than that, like other than listening to the music and make sure it's sounding good and it's bumping, it's work, man. When I leave work, I'll sit here and play with my PlayStation or do something else besides listen to music. Believe it or not, even the DJing stuff. I don't listen to my DJ music unless I'm picking it out or playing it over there. I don't sit around and listen to music, which is like, it's like the bad coin to what I do. Yeah. I tend not to enjoy music as a fan. I'm more of an industry person. You know what I mean?
Understood.
Which kind of sucks, honestly, because
No, it makes sense because if it's the work that you do 24/7, you know, you don't want to go home and deal with it. You know what I'm saying? You go home.
I have my Spotify, and I use it mostly for research, or to have let my daughter have her account.
Okay.
But I don't, and I have a ton of playlists, mostly for DJing or like research. But I don't sit around listening to music. Believe it or not, I know it's disappointing, but it sucks because I used to be a big fan of music, but now I know what's still good. I know what can hit. I know what sounds good, but I don't enjoy it as much personally on that level anymore, unless I'm DJing and I'm feeling it. When it's live there and I'm feeling it, yes. But just to sit around listening to it, not as much.
Okay.
Do you remember Local Love when Local
Hell
Love
yeah.
came out?
Daddy Fast.
You probably was the prime sound architect of that time.
Oh man, yeah, that's where 16 Years Old was on there, and a bunch of local stuff was on there back then. Boy,
Lights, Camera, Action by Toe Down. You did that one.
Oh yeah. We used Schife and I used to produce a lot of stuff, or most of Toe's stuff actually.
I think Toe Down is one of the best A&Rs in Palm Beach County, as far as like projects together.
He is so freaking talented. That man knows music more than anybody I know. He knows how to pick it. He is really good. Always has been good. Always knows what he wants. Always has a great taste. He's excellent.
And I had a chance to work with both G-Boi and Toe Down, but I want to say I can't remember who I worked with first, but they both did records for me on spot, like on demand. I collaborated with both of those artists, and that was the first time. I've always heard stories of Off the Dome. You hear about Jay-Z, you hear about Lil Wayne, but locally, those were the first two rappers that I see go in the studio, give them like 5-10 minutes with the beat, but then it's like, all right, let's go, and they're gonna give you a 16, and they got it done within 30 minutes at least. And I'm talking about solid verses too.
Yeah. Both of them were excellent at putting shit together like that. Especially Toe. Toe is one of the first people, like back when I started, even with Trip, like there was very few punching. Everybody would just, you run through your whole verse. If you didn't like it, you run it again. But Toe was the first one to do that controlled freestyle. We'll do a line or two, stop and think, do another line, and that's how a lot of his stuff was constructed back then. And he's always been really good at that. He's very fast. He makes stuff out of nothing, out of nowhere. Like you witnessed it. I've seen him come in. He has a little idea, and boom, it fleshes out into a song within an hour.
And I don't think the producers get enough credit for that, because it's like, I think it takes a special talent to be able to know when it ends, take it back to that beginning, already have it running for you to feel and punch in with something else. Is that more challenging to work with an artist that punches in versus somebody with a one take?
Yeah, of course. It's more difficult to do that and keep the rhythm going so that they can, so that it's a workflow. You have to kind of keep it going so that they're interested and it took me a minute to get my workflow down. I had carpal tunnel, when I used to do G-Boi and Toe Down back in the day, until I got it under control now where I got a really good workflow these days compared to back then. Back then it was hard on my wrist. Yeah. Trust me. It's all that stop. That's how we did all the records back then.
You know what? And I got I remember one time, you was able to sneak me in on a session, and it was an artist from it was down south. He went by Dirty Red at the time, and
yeah,
I don't listen, and me and him we did a record together, and Oscar, once again, Oscar was, working some magic. When you got a big name artist like that, we working some magic. But I remember what Dirty Red is what I want to say a perfectionist. I didn't know what I think I know exactly what a perfectionist is, but
now you do now. You've been through it now,
and I think Oscar could remember, because I don't know if you ever had a challenge like that before, but Eric and Drego, hear me. Like when I talk about 20 takes on the verse, after take 20, I couldn't hear the difference in the verse and the delivery, the verse. I knew it by the time, but I knew it. And I think Oscar, that's the first time, at least I can remember, Oscar looked at me like, "Fat boy, I don't know what else to do." Like, like what we doing? Like it ain't changing. But it was like he redid, he didn't want to take no punches. It had to be like a one. I think we ended up doing like 2 or 3 takes to get it right. But I've never seen, I ain't gonna say frustrated, but I think that's the first time Oscar was like, "What the heck is we doing?" The verse ain't changed.
Well, the only reason is because I remember that, you know how strict I am with my time.
Yeah.
That's what it was, because I have artists like that today. I'm not gonna name any names.
Yeah.
That, you know, they'll do something 100 times, and to me it sounds like the same exact thing. I mean, I don't have golden years like that to say okay, you know. But yeah, back then that was one of the first times I encountered somebody of that like that.
I was like, man, okay. Shout out to Dirty Red, man. He was very.
I remember, like, man, I got people waiting. We gotta get out of here.
Yeah.
But yeah, you know, he's not the only one. There are plenty like him, and you know, you just gotta, again, you know, the patience thing is. Sometimes I don't have it, and I hope 90% of it I do. I try.
How do you handle this one? I'm sure a lot of Drego probably can relate to, but how do you handle when someone just, I don't know, is it annoying for everyone to ask you for feedback from a record after they record it? Is it like, so is it normal, or is it like, oh shoot,
what kind of feedback are you talking about?
Shit, man, is this the hit, man? This the one, like, you know, like they hyped in the studio, we got drinks.
Hey, how it sound? Oh, you like it?
While they're recording, I will maintain that hype. But if they ask me honestly, I would tell you the truth. I have no fucking clue, because I even with the shit that me and Schife, remember we used to make beats all the time, and remember Making Love to the Money we talked about?
Yeah.
Okay. We sat there and we made, while we were waiting for Gucci, we made him the best ass beats we could make. And he comes in finally after hours of us waiting, like I told you. And he goes, "Oh man, no, you didn't have to do that. I wrote to something already." And he picked one of the most average ass beats, because we made 100 of these. Okay. So from, you know, and I knew before, but from then on, I'm like, you know, I can't pick shit. I have no idea. People tend to pick stuff. When you're in the industry, it's very difficult to, you know, you might like it at the moment, you might like the way it sounds, and you're happy, but it's very hard to decipher what people will like. Very. Because what I think is hits, you know, people are like, "Oh, you like that shit?" Yeah. So I can't. I'll be honest, you know, and say, yeah, I like that shit. I like the way it sounds. And if it needs to be changed, I'll say maybe we can try this and that. But I have no clue what's going to be a hit or not.
Gotcha.
That isn't my job. My job is to make it sound as good as I can, so it can be a hit.
Do you feel like yourself? Do you feel like a therapist somewhat? Because
that is my primary job.
Okay.
An engineer, that is the primary job, and I realized this after many years. And you know, I kind of dig it, because I'm hoping I'm a positive influence in people's lives. You know, I kind of like that idea.
No, absolutely. I definitely appreciate it after all these years, and you know, you're always giving the best advice, and you know, even when it comes to records, you would always give your honest truth about something. You know what I mean? And that's something I always appreciate. I'm sure everybody else does too. I think that's why you have the longevity that you have in the business, and
I don't like the bullshit at all. You know me. I'm a pretty straight shooter most of the time.
Is it different? Like, how is the climate with engineering and having a commercial studio with so many people doing a lot at home?
Oh, it's definitely not like it was in 2007. You know, a lot of my clients these days, you know, they ask me what to buy, like Fat Boy there, and then a lot of times they'll send me the stuff to mix. So yeah, it's not like, you know, in those days where you had to wait 3 months to get in to see me. It's kind of calmed down, and it's actually, I mean, I miss more money, but I like the pace now better. You know, at least I have more of a life.
Yeah.
I was doing 60 to 80 hours back then.
Woo.
I know, it was crazy.
That's 2 jobs, Oscar. That's a lot.
Bro, I know, you know, and like, you know, but now I don't work as much. I'm DJing again, and you know, my stress levels are better. I'm exercising. I mentally feel better more now than I did back then. Put it that way.
So you're right in your pocket.
Yeah. Well, so far, yeah.
I'm proud of you, and I'm proud of you for, you know, you always share your fitness journey. So when I booked my session, you either went to the gym and you shared, hey, fat boy, I got this in, my arm hurt, shoulder hurt.
Bro, I did it yesterday. I still hate it. I hate it to death, but I have to do it, bro. I'm gonna be 60 in 2 months.
Nah, 45, Oscar, not 60.
I wish.
Times 1.
But I want to be up for it. I want to be able to, you know, still hang.
Awesome, man. So what keeps you going? You just said you're about to turn 60, and I know, you know, that's a long career, and you're still at it, and you got plenty more left in the tank. You don't operate at all like someone who's trying to slow down. When we talk about gigging, we talk about engineering and what you give to the game and the entertainment business. What keeps Oscar fueled and going?
I don't know, man. I think I think I am made out of music, and music is what kind of like propels me to keep going. Because let's be honest, bro, music is fun. It's not like I'm an accountant and shit. I'm not doing boring shit all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, music is fun, and it's something you can do for a long time. Again, as long as you take care of yourself, and as long as you keep accepting new things, because many people get stuck in the old ways, and you know, they're just about one era. I always try to see what's good about every era that comes through, and you know, I went through that with DJing. With the change when I moved here to Florida, I realized that if I don't keep learning and seeing what's new and seeing what you know, what people find good and whatever is new, if I don't do that, I can't keep going. So I like the journey. I like continuously discovering new things.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. What's one of the past, as Eric was talking about artists, a lot of artists are kind of recording themselves in their home studios. So what's one advice you want to give folks before they bring you a record? What's one of them pet peeves that make you say, oh, what the heck is this? Like, you know, what's one of your pet peeves you could share?
One of my biggest pet peeves is recording every line on a separate track. Imagine you got a 16-bar verse with 90 tracks with all the different words, and that's my big file management and organization. You know, I'm really my pet peeve is organization. Yes, that's about it.
And I don't think you get enough credit for this too. Like you're the first engineer when I recorded. Like I got out the booth, the record sounded done. Like I was so used to dropping the vocals, coming out the booth, sitting down, and then it's like now the mixing starts. Then you get to the point where, oh, I hear the potential. But what was the science about that? And did you ever get credit? Do you think people discuss that? Because I know that's a service not everybody offers.
No, you know, I hate nickel and diming people. You know, I really hate it. I want you to come in to my place and have a good experience and leave with something that you're happy to leave with. So having said that, early on, I started making my own templates and stuff. So, you know, when I load up a session, I have all my tools ready to go. And as you're recording, I'm doing knobs and stuff just to get it to sound like something. So, you know, so you're happy, and it actually makes you do a better performance too. So, you know, I hate that. Oh yeah, we'll mix it later on and I charge you more. I was always, you know, you come here, you give me enough time and I'll give you something to take with you where you don't have to come back if you don't want to. That's one of my business things. You know what I mean? I try not to nickel and dime people.
Right. It's always good like that, because to me, I feel like back then it always brought up the artist's motivation. Like it brought them up, gave them more, or it gave them more, you know. energy and really happy to hear they stuff. Like, ooh.
And that's why I have a lot more return clients, because I treat each one the same way. I would treat Triple J the same way I treat you, the same way I treat somebody who I don't know. It doesn't matter. Everybody gets, mostly the same service.
Right. Confidence is all. It's all confidence.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, Oscar, you don't use the same program that I grew up on, right? Or what I was used to seeing. Is it Cubase? Is that the proper name?
Yeah.
Or New Window? Is it the same?
New Window is Cubase, but it's like the bigger brother of it. It has a few extra functions, but basically it's the same shit as Cubase. Yeah.
Okay. Now I know you got Pro Tools. I know you got Logic to help artists if you're
Studio
opening a session.
One. Yes, I can run all of them.
But why New Window or Cubase?
Cubase. Okay, remember when I started learning how to produce and make music? Cubase was my first program. I didn't even have audio. It was MIDI. It was it was just a MIDI, and I started using it in 1993. So I grew up with Cubase and all this, So I knew it from when it was like this big till now, and that's why I can work very fast with it. And so, when you come to my studio, I can record you on Pro Tools. I can record you on whatever the hell you want. They all do the same shit. But if you want me to be quick and efficient, I use what I know very well. Although now I'm pretty good with Cubase. I'm pretty good with Pro Tools now. I should have done that back then when I could have recorded Rick Ross and those guys. But whatever.
Because Pro Tools was like the industry standard.
Yes, and they were the industry. Yes, they are the industry standard because they were the first to make no latency recording, which means you had a Pro Tools box. When you put the effects inside the mixer and you talked into it, you heard the reverb, you heard the delay, you heard the auto-tune. Nobody else came up with that but them first. That's why they got into so many studios and stuff, because they were the first ones to actually do that. While Cubase started off as a MIDI, no audio, it started off as MIDI. So Digidesign were the first ones, and they went to high end. So yeah.
Now, sometimes when people think of a studio, my next thing is you may think of this big ass room, speakers everywhere, a bunch of couches. Like sometimes the artist with a gimmick, they might have a bunch of change and you might think they made it. I've always felt like with Oscar, though, whether you was sharing a location till you got to your own locations, the rooms were never as super big, but we always got quality and phenomenal things came out of there. Is there a science to having more smaller spaces, making it more intimate? Does that matter? Or you just never, all the square footage, the extra square footage?
I would love to have one of those big studios, but the reality of it is they're a lot higher to maintain. You need a lot of loans to get all the equipment to fill it and stuff. And I've always felt that me being in a small space is not intimidating to first-time people. Those big studios cater to big bands, audio executives, and people who just want to, feel like they're in a place that's high end. It's like a high end hotel versus a motel. So, I'm like a motel with high end sound.
I like that. I like that.
Oh, Motown.
Motel.
Mo sound.
Ooh. Mo sound. Yeah.
Motel with quality sound.
Yeah.
I like that. So I'm just curious too. How did you come up with the name OnBeat? I know it's.
I was going to tell you that earlier.
Oh, okay.
OnBeat was not the original name of the studio. OnBeat was the name of the record store that my studio was behind. The first studio was behind Danceteria, and there was no name for that studio. And then the owner closed Danceteria, and then we opened up OnBeat Music next door, which OnBeat Music was a DJ store. It sold records and vinyls and karaoke shit up front. My studio, my corporation is OZB Studios, which are my initials. But everybody started calling it OnBeat, so I'm like, fuck it, OnBeat it is. So I didn't name it. It just got christened that way, and I went with it.
Nice.
Wow. It's awesome story.
Because Triple J and everybody started saying OnBeat on their records, and I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah.
No, that's dope.
That's the reason I went. Because So Mung, he
Oh,
was going
so,
there because Triple J was going there, and they was like the first had CDs that sound like to us like radio quality or something
yeah.
like
So
that.
is very talented, man. I haven't seen him in a while, but he was always so talented. Hell
Yeah, that's who brought me in there. You had a ponytail back then. Oscar had a
You
ponytail.
know, yeah, that's when I had hair. I had hair.
Yeah.
I had hair. I shaved it off in 2006. I was at the mall with my wife and my daughter back then, and I said, "Oh, let me go get a haircut." So I went went into one of those hair salons at the mall, PGA. When they finished, I'm like, "How much is it?" The look of sadness in the girl's face to tell me how much she was going to charge me was too much. Right after that, I went home and shaved it. I said, "Fuck that, I'm done." Because it was already thinning out so much. I'm like, "Fuck it, I'm done."
Hey, shout out to you. I cannot picture you with the ponytail.
Oh hell no, man. Hell no. But yeah, I used to have them back then in the 80s, you know, my punk phase and all that. Yeah.
Has an artist ever, I don't know, after recording a record, maybe they didn't like how I sound and I don't know, asked for a refund?
A refund. I have very few refunds. Very few. I've had artists that have had like that I've had disputes with where I would tell them to leave and not charge them, but I can't recall like an actual refund. You know what I mean? I can't recall an actual like where I had to give a refund. Maybe one in all these years, maybe. I don't know. But it was more like, you know, they were doing something in the studio I didn't like or whatever, and I asked them to leave and didn't charge them. But I don't recall refunds.
Okay. Do you still have everyone's backups?
I have backups that go back to 2004. I wish I had more. As a matter of fact, Raylo has been trying to get me to find the original files for Peanut Butter Jelly, but I used to have them on CDs and DVDs. I cannot find that shit.
So Peanut Butter and Jelly, which did very huge on cartoons and took over dancing, the whole world dancing. That came out of OnBeat Studios.
Yeah. We did that. I believe it was 2001, 2002, around that time that we did that.
I think Raylo got a plaque for that record. If I'm not like, there's a plaque, something, right?
Yeah, he got a plaque. He sold it to the rights to Ted a Slip Inside, and they're going through some shit about it now.
Okay, dope.
Yeah,
dope.
I did get a few years ago. I got my daughter. He got her a yellow vinyl with his signature on it, so she has a memento of it. You know.
Nice.
Yeah.
So the other day I was kind of going through one of our prior episodes, and we had this conversation about AI. And Eric brought up some good points. Like he just, you know, as we're talking about production, for example, if AI can produce a trap beat for you, right? Eric said how we so impressed with AI, but AI would be impressed on the human standpoint of the process we would go through actually creating that trap beat versus a computer that's just, oh, every 4 bars I'm gonna do this, every 8 bars I'm gonna do this. With today's technology and recording and mixing and mastering, are you utilizing AI for anything? Is it making your job easier, or you don't ever see an engineer in the future being replaced from a program?
Oh no. I definitely see a lot of our stuff going AI. I do use AI. I use it to help me mastering things, to get things right. I use it to make my job quicker. You know, so you can get in and out, and it sounds like $1 million. It sounds even better now because I do use AI plugins for certain things. Do I think it'll take over music? I don't know. Maybe when it develops a soul, unless, you know, like if you want all electronic music that sounds like all like techno all night, I guess. But if you really want soul, you need some sort of human input in there. You know what I mean? You can't just let the machines do it all the time. I don't mind the machines helping you get a start or inspiration, but you know, if you just let them do it, I don't know what that's gonna be like.
I feel like and it's just an opinion. When we went into the auto-tune phase, it set up AI very well because we mechanicalize our voice. So now when you got AI that can come out choppy, even it's gonna sound dope because we already kind of put that automation.
I'll tell you
So
what
you don't really know the difference.
I'll tell you what autotune did. It made everybody that's heard it, like growing up with it, think that music singing is perfect. So when you hear something off, they think it's weird. Where if you listen to stuff from the 70s, 60s, 80s, you know, they had there's mistakes and stuff, you know, and people didn't catch on, but you can't, it's very difficult to do the same today because everything is so quantized.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know, you know, I you know, me being a DJ, I've always liked the quantized shit. I like dance music like that, but I don't know if I want all music to be like that. You know, I still like this, you know, to have human soul in it. Sometimes I even leave mistakes in songs, you know, just for that, so to let you know that it's not just, you know, like a robot. So, you know, like little mistakes, nothing crazy, but I'll point it out. I'm like, can I leave that in this so you know that it's real? You know, I've done that.
So when you say you use AI, what is the difference from using AI and the templates and the presets that's already being triggered without
templates? Okay, I make my own templates. You know, I have compressors and EQs and stuff, and I have a starting point, and then depending on, you know, the voice, I change it based on their voice. So it's, I guess it's sort of like, you know, it's a preset, but I adjust a preset to go. But I don't start with presets. The presets are on mine. Now with AI, the most usefulness that I've seen is from like EQs, right? They have EQs now where you can run your voice or something through it, and it'll take up all the bad resonances and stuff like that, and it'll sound better. So I use it mostly with EQs, sometimes compressors. So it's kind of a shortcut to where I would get to regardless.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't mind taking a little shortcut here and there, you know.
So why are we calling that AI?
Okay, AI is what the hell does AI stand for again?
Artificial intelligence.
Okay, because what they do is they teach the plugin to look for certain things. Computer programming is on an if-then basis. If this, then do that. Zeros and ones. So basically, they teach it a bunch of those zeros and ones, and then it takes them all in at the same time, judges them based on the rules, and that's what they call AI. It's not true AI where the AI is sentient, you know, and you know, but they're programmed to look for certain things, and they're very task-based things. So something like an EQ or a compressor is relatively simple to make into an AI because there's a volume of information of what sounds good already. So that's why they call it AI. But it's not, it's not really intelligent. The programmers made it intelligent or made it look for certain things and makes it sound a certain way.
Yeah, I get weird, not weird. I start to lose context when we're throwing the word AI around with everything so much.
Yeah, it's a buzzword right now, man. It's a buzzword. Not everything is AI. No. Chat GPT, that's AI. Yes. Other things are just intelligent, you know, like very well programmed things. But AI is a catchword of today. Just like 3D was, or whatever the hell.
Artificial.
Not everything is AI. It's not artificial intelligence. There were programmers who actually programmed that shit.
So are you an AI?
Oh, if you believe in the Matrix, we are all AIs.
I have no idea. I'm speaking. We're speaking through you through a medium. We don't know.
I am a carbon-based life form, so therefore, not AI. Hopefully.
So,
as far as I know, you never know.
Who made you?
Are you getting into spiritual stuff now, Eric?
No. That's what AI might say. They won't let you know that there's something else.
No, that's the whole thing that's going to be coming in the future. If you watch movies like Blade Runner, or you played like Cyberpunk 2077, which I was playing before I got on a call with you guys, AI has a very big part in the future. The only thing is, once AI gets smart enough to be self-aware, that's where the things got start getting fuzzy. Are they sentient beings because they are aware like us, even though we made them? That's heavy.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is.
Isn't that how we got here?
You could say that. There you go. And now you're going to see in the future, those are going to be the arguments.
Right.
Yeah, I see the rights.
And one day they'll see this interview and go, man, those motherfuckers knew what they were talking about.
Because the problem will be how you're treating whatever you as a conscious subject. It's gonna be how you're treating it. So it's gonna cost you to treat something else as if it's not real. Like if I was to put an AI doll in front of you, and you just started raping it or beating it up, doing all types of things.
Yeah, raping. What's a rape?
Eric, I want some of what you have, because damn,
is this
that
was your micron filtered and ozonated water. But basically, I'm saying it'll cost you. It's gonna cost you, because now you're gonna have to deal with what you're able to do, just as on video games.
Shit, all this they have AI announcers, they have AI podcasting, they have all that shit. And in Japan, they have AI pop stars. Have you seen those guys?
CEOs.
I don't know about CEOs, but there's actually
I heard
AI
about
pop
CEOs.
stars for real in Japan.
Yeah, the pop stars.
You're saying pop stars like got a following?
They're famous. Yeah.
They're famous. They have songs, and they're all virtual.
Now look at this. And it's gonna throw y'all off. Shrek is famous. Mickey Mouse is famous. You got cartoons that's worth more than a lot of us.
The IP, yes.
So
intellectual property.
If depending on what your goals in life, what's going to be the difference of being considered AI versus human?
And that's why they're having those strikes with the actors now, because they want to do a lot of stuff with AI and give them permission to use their images and voices, and that's part of the strike. Believe it or not, they want to do a lot of the acting as AI. So we're on the brink of it, man. We're definitely on the brink of it, of an explosion of it, because corporations want cheap labor, and this is what that's what it's coming down to. And it's going to come back and bite them in the ass if they don't treat this shit right now.
Yeah, I get that.
So you're a gamer?
Oh yeah.
Cyberpunk, how you enjoying it?
Fuck yeah! You ever play it?
Oh yeah, I beat it the first time. I got to do it this time around again because I know they updated.
Did you do the whole world? Did you do everything, or did you just play the main story?
No, I think I'm like 86% done, but I didn't go all the way.
No.
So what's the basis of Cyberpunk? I have no idea.
It's exactly. It's what we're talking about. This whole thing, what we're talking about, is it's about emerging AI, cyberspace. What constitutes an entity? What constitutes an aware entity? It's besides just killing people and shit like that. Underneath it, it asks the question: what happens when AI becomes sentient? Do we respect it as a life form or not?
And how how do you make that a video game? I don't understand how
it's a long ass video game, man. I'm about 150 hours in, so
yeah, it's
play it. Actually, you know what? It's a book.
Like Grand Theft.
It's a book, and it's actually an anime on Netflix. Look it up.
Yeah, it's so okay. It could be in the Grand Theft Auto form. If I say RPG, you may not understand, but it's an open world again. You're a single player. It's in first person. First person, you know, you see is your hand and the gun, unless it goes into a cutscene. But it's a game that you can really take your time with and play, and it has a whole bunch of playing hours. People love that because you're playing one game and spending your time on one game, and you still hasn't have 100% on the game. And there's so many cutscenes, so many side missions, and so many things you can do within it, which makes it a really great game.
Well, this one is based on cyberware. It's based on the
Correct.
future. It's based on people having cyberware built in, like the eyes can
Right.
do shit,
Arms,
the arms. So it's based on that. It's based on your body can become cyberware, and you just gotta look at it, Eric.
So you could put something on.
Have a gummy, watch it.
I mean, it sounds interesting.
You can replace your arm with cyberware.
Yeah, you gotta. It's really good. Just trust me on this.
It's
we just behind in the game.
Yeah, because I
listen.
They're speaking another
this
language
algebra,
right now.
yeah,
you
I'm
could
about to
replace
say,
your own.
I'm bopping. I'm vibing.
This here is adult. Like the kids don't too much like it. It's more of an adult.
Yeah, see what I'm saying? My mind is still open to like all sorts of shit. Yes, I enjoy gaming.
Nice.
All right. So do you have a spirit or a soul?
We all do, of course.
And so it's inside of what?
This container.
Yeah.
So is that like some sort of artificial intelligence? It's
not artificial because we are carbon based. We're talking about artificial where humans develop the intelligence through programming and then it becomes sentient. That would be artificial intelligence. Yeah.
So I definitely have programming. I've been programmed by TV, radio.
Yeah, but it's not artificial, Eric. You're not artificial intelligence. You are
TV
organic.
Is TV real? Is TV organic? If I got all my language from TV and radio, is that?
Yeah, actually, it is. TV is organic. Right now, it is. Right now, it is.
Let's quote that. Oscar says TV is organic.
Oscar was not
gluten free.
We did very good up.
Hey, I really like this interview. I can talk about this shit all night. Hell yeah.
Cyberpunk it is.
Jesus. OZ, I want to talk about
a gaming podcast. I'd be in. Hell yeah.
I told him we can definitely do that.
All right.
An offshoot.
I wanted to talk about y'all good on the gaming. Y'all, I don't want to interrupt y'all. Okay, listen.
Okay, the AI chapter is closed for now.
Yeah, we can.
AI chapter is closed.
What's something we could double back? But I was gonna talk about fatherhood a little bit. You have the one daughter, correct?
Yes.
How has fatherhood impact your life, OZ? And did you have to slow down on the DJing or engineering at all, or and is your daughter into anything like that?
Oh man, when she came, it was tough on me because I none of that was planned, and it freaked the shit out of me, to tell you the truth. And it was hard at first, man. Juggling the DJing and the studio time and picking her up at school. I had a wife back then, so we were both taking turns and stuff like that. But it was very difficult, doing the engineering and doing the DJing and stuff and staying married. It didn't happen. You know how hard it could be, like for musicians or people into music and relationships. I tried it twice. It's not for me. As far as she's concerned, I did my best that I could to still take care of her and still do what I did. But I did quit DJing for about 10 years or so while she was growing up, and I was in her life. We went out all the time and we did stuff. So, I'm happy. I'm happy I went through that. I'm happy I'm still going through it. And right now she is 20 years old and she's going to the University of Florida and she's into biochemistry. Way smarter than me. Way smarter.
You did a phenomenal job, man. Congratulations.
No, I can't take all the credit,
Come on.
Well,
my ex is an excellent mom. I'm not going to be one of those guys that say, yeah, but I'm humbled that she came out really good. Thank you. Yes.
And awesome. And I know even sometimes we'll book in sessions, whether she was there or you're like, hey, you know, I'm with my daughter this day. I know you was definitely involved, and that's amazing.
Oh yeah,
I always see
it was
you
a
balance, and that took priority. You know what I
She
mean?
was a big priority. I had to do it.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Awesome, man.
As I know you do, you know.
That's good. No, that's good. I'm happy to hear that.
Yeah, I'm happy. She's going off to college, and actually, it was after she went to college that I jumped back into DJing. Now that I have more free time, you know, get back and start having some fun.
Now I want to talk about something because you know you were married, you went through a divorce, right?
Twice.
Twice?
Yes,
Oh.
that was my second one.
Okay.
Yeah, I know. It is what it is.
No. Okay. So no, sorry to hear that. So I want to talk about so I don't know. I guess as a client at that time, you know, we didn't have the relationship I think we have today, but you once upon a time after you had a situation before, right? And things were going good, and didn't one of your partners suddenly just pass?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That was my girlfriend. That was about 8 years ago. That was a very difficult time. And to tell you the truth, it's it's in the past, but it's still something that bothers me. Yeah.
Because I remember I met her a few times at the studio. I mean, you was always full of life, joy. It just seemed like everything was on the up and up, and you were doing very well. I was very proud of and happy for you.
Thank
and then,
you.
you know, when you shared the news, I was just like, damn. It was kind of like, what?
Yeah.
You
know, it still fucks with me, and I really, I don't even like thinking about it these days. But yeah.
Okay. Oh shoot. Then we'll leave it alone. Because I mean, when you said love is not for you, I guess that's where I was trying to go with it.
I didn't say love is not for me.
Okay.
What I said is marriage is not for me.
Oh, okay.
I would love to have a girlfriend that she has her place and I have mine, and sometimes we could spend it,
Why does
a situationship? You know what I'm saying?
Entanglement.
I tried it. I tried very many times, but I kind of I like having my own space. I don't mind sharing it here and there, but I like having my space. I really do.
So do you? That's how you want it for the rest, like you? Or
I only got about 20 years left. What the fuck? Yeah.
20? You got a lot more than 20.
Oscar,
I figure, I don't know. I figure
Oscar,
80.
You're gonna be around to tell these stories and talk to your grandkids. Like I can see you, man. You just these stories and the things you share. You goaded for it, man. Oh man,
We'll see what happens. We'll see. If not, we always got this.
Awesome. And one thing people don't talk about: how do you diet? How do you when do you find time to eat? When you're booked all goddamn day, like, do you pray somebody cancels? Do you have to order? Does Uber Eats take all your money? How does it?
Fuck that Uber Eats shit. I do that once. I do that once a month because I get a $10 allowance from Amex. But other than that, hell no. I wouldn't. That's a waste of money getting all that shit delivered.
That's just expensive.
But if I'm booked the whole day, I usually buy lunch and dinner on my way to the studio, and I'll eat it there because I have been trying to be healthier and trying not to eat crap. So I'll either make something here or buy it on my way, and it's usually a salad or something from Bole or chicken. Chick-fil-A. I love. I haven't had it in a minute because Bole and Just Salads took it over.
Bole is nice. I like Bole.
I like Bole. Bole
Nice.
Bole hit you for $20. You get that extra shrimp and guacamole. You had easy.
Listen, I get this regular servings because I'm trying to maintain.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I love it.
I mean, I'm trying to build strength and stuff, but I don't want to be, I just want to be my normal self. Feeling better.
Oscar, so what advice, if any, would you give to your younger self when it comes to whether DJing or on the engineering side? Is there anything you wish somebody would have told you before you started, or anything you just look back at your younger self and be like, man, I would have done this differently?
That's a good question. No, I enjoyed every part of learning and every part of coming up. No, I probably would have told myself not to quit college and fucking finish and get a degree. But other than that, no, I don't regret anything I've done or the way I've done it. I wouldn't give myself any. I would still do it again.
Awesome. My problem with college is that, once again, I think to each its own, but I just see people who get these degrees, they got to go through hoops to get a decent job to even start giving back to what they owe. Like
that's why I'm happy I followed what I did. I'm my own employer.
Yeah.
I got my own knowledge. I can do all sorts of different things because I know how to teach myself. So if I would have gone to college, the degree would have just been something to show. But I'm pretty sure I would have had jobs that were creative, because I think that's what I'm more geared to, is creativity.
Yeah, I can see you in tech because you always teaching me something new.
Oh, definitely tech. Yeah, I could be in tech. I can do any tech.
I think I learned how to use my iPhone through you.
Yeah, but I did take computer. I was working on Apple Lisas back then in the 80s. I knew how to do command lines. I was trying to do computer animation. So yes, I am very, very tech oriented. So I can do tech. I would have gotten into programming, maybe. I wish I would have gone into programming. But yeah, I actually did program. My first program was on a Commodore 64. My cousin gave me all the formulas to bet on baseball. So I did all the combinations. The computer would ask you a question, you put in the stats, and at the end you get a percentage of whether you're going to win or not. And I had a lot of fun doing that. And the only actual class that I aced in college was statistics. So yeah, I think I was made for math, and music is math. So maybe that's why I'm in what I'm in.
I mean, Oscar, man, like we definitely on Xposure, we like giving flowers too, and you know what I mean, we love getting the history and the documentation of everyone that's contributed to, even from locally to Florida to the region, across the globe. As we know, this platform is going to continue to grow, but man, it's been a privilege for you to take the time out and to definitely share your story. This documentation is very important, and I personally, from a client, you're someone I consider a friend. And you're still young to me, but even a father figure. We could talk about anything, and I know I could hit you up for anything. I just want to say thank you personally for all that you do, all that you contribute, and I wish you plenty more years of success and blessings, and we're gonna rock out. I still see me calling you, even if you say, man, I'm not an engineer, someone took over, I still gonna call.
I'll be around for a while. Eric, I need to see you.
I'm coming.
You, my friend. Been a minute. You need to get back on.
I got you. I'm coming soon. I got something for you to make.
For the head.
Hold on. What's the day's date? Wait a minute. October 18th, 10:03 p.m. Say what?
What?
Hold on, Oscar.
Hey, he's showing up with his son.
We're doing a different episode.
He's coming in with his son.
Wait a minute. Don't you have your listening party on Saturday?
I sure do. Yes, sir. I have
I'm gonna try to make it to that. I did go to the last one. I'll try and make it to that.
You did. You ate good. I was proud, man. You made me feel good.
Real. Fuck yeah.
And listen, people talk to today. They say you got Oscar to come out to a listening party.
If
like
grill,
that was the talk of the city.
If grill is on the menu, I will be at your listening.
Hey, you might as well don't eat lunch then.
Or curry chicken or jerk chicken, anything Caribbean. I'll be there.
Nah, don't eat lunch because I got you covered, brother. Don't eat lunch then. We finna grub out. But nah, Eric is here, man. I think every guest, he's somewhat impacted, whether they watch this journey or from collaboration. So we'll see what the future holds. I'm optimistic for sure.
Yeah. And thank you so much, Oscar, for your contribution to our community, the arts. I said something similar to Clarence, CRB Media, because of what he allowed us to do and express through his distribution system with CDs. So you having your space to allow us to express without taking it in, I want to say, violent means. You touched a very, very large, I would say 90% of a couple of generations at least, in their journeys with creativity, music, their passion, their struggles, just our story that's being documented when this is all looked back upon by the AI ancestral overlords, and they come back.
Here we go again. The AI, the AI is back. Yes.
They see that Oscar Zayas imprinted their creation throughout everything. You're gonna be a legend.
Well, you
So
know what?
I think you're in
I am
advance.
proud. I am so proud to be able to work with who I work with the community for here. Because honestly, I wouldn't be shit with any of you all at all. You know, it's a collaborative effort, and I am the proud one. Thank you.
Wubba lubba.
Respect it.
That was
Yeah, Rick and Morty. See, AI.
What is it? Wubba lubba?
It's Rick and Morty, man. You don't know. Oh, you don't know who Rick and Morty? I'm sure Drego knows who Rick and Morty is.
I know who they are. I know Soulja Boy made a song about it more than that show. Oh, wait, I put your head down together. Y'all got to beef with. Don't talk bad about Soulja Boy. Hey, don't talk about Big Draco.
Nobody can say
Draco
that.
got. Hey, we got some clips on YouTube. They come. Please.
I'm not laughing at that. I'm just if you watch this, you'd get the connection to cyberpunk and all the other stuff and AI.
Head down. You just scared.
That's some gaming worlds. I told you the gaming world got their own language. Yeah, we not in that.
We got to do at least 10 episodes to get caught up here.
I'll be on the gaming episode. I will be on with you boys. Hell yeah.
Okay, awesome. So Oscar, for those viewers who are unaware of you and they wanted to get with you or follow you or book you for business, what would be the way for someone to reach Oscar Zayas at OnBeat Studios?
Facebook is OnBeat Studios. Facebook.onbeatstudios.com. My web address is onbeatstudios.com. My Instagram is OnBeat Studios. I mean, just type in OnBeat Studios and you can book, text me, or whatever however you need to get in touch with me. I also do internet work, so if you email me stuff and you want it mixed, I can take care of that as well. But
Do your cat have an Instagram?
No, but that's my personal picture on my personal Instagram. Let me see where did he go?
No, we saw him on the screen a few times.
Oh yeah, he's actually the picture. If you look at my personal Instagram, Oscar_Zayas, that's his picture because he's always bugging me.
Shout out to him. Shout out to him. I said, what's up?
Ari.
Shout out to him. Oscar, thank you so much for your time, man. All our listeners, thank you for tuning in to Xposure. I'm the Global Zoe.
I'm Eric Biddines.
It's Drego Mill.
And we are. Oscar, thank you so much, man. We're going to let you get the game in if that's what you're doing.
That's what I'm doing.
Hey, Saturday, if you free, we're going to be there. A lot of food's going to be there. Pull up.
I have it in my calendar. I'll try to make it up.
All right, Oscar, thank you. Have a good night, boys. All right, later.
It's more than just a podcast. It's exposure.